Can never pick one. It's either ratchet hair and makeup done or no makeup and great hair. Hey y'all, welcome back. So I keep saying that I'm not a beauty guru and a makeup guru and all these things, but all of my videos are starting to be like lipstick and hair videos and other things relating to physical appearance. But it's okay, because I'll never admit that I can do them well, and if I start doing them well, I guess that's okay too. Okay, so our topic, obviously by the title, is that I'm talking about my hair experience. Nightmare to fairy tale. Naturally, I'm sure you could see in other videos, I have very, very curly hair. Got a little bit of Cape Verdean in me, and my dad has
curly hair.
So I'm just prone to having the curls. But my issue is it wasn't just curly, it was very coarse and unmaintainable for a child. And that's where the story begins. So stick around if you want to hear real tips, my routine, my long experience, which you're gonna have to sit through or fast forward through, and tell you how an average girl like me, and could be you, have natural, beautiful, not disgusting hair. Okay, so as a kid, I have always had the curliest hair, and as I became a little older, I obviously had to start doing my own hair, and that was a terrible idea. Starting from preschool, honestly, I was a tomboy. My dad's a race car driver, and so I grew up being in the dirt, going to the racetrack. I mean, I spent until my 9th birthday at the racetrack, and then I started doing other things. I loved Barbies, and I was into every girly thing, but I was one of the boys when I was a kid. I mean, I still kind of am one of the boys, but I just don't. My hairstyle for years was a ponytail. I mean, if you know me now, I always wear a ponytail every single day, but there was a reason back then, and that was because I, 1, was self-conscious about my hair, and 2, didn't know what to do with it. So my hair every day was up in a ponytail. And due to the fact of my hatred for showers, which kind of still remains, I never washed my hair. And I wasn't like a smelly kid or anything, but if you don't know, like, what creates knots is your hair shedding getting tangled with your hair that is not shedding. And so wearing a ponytail through the night, through the day, my hair had no room to fall out. So I would get the most unbelievable natural dreads to the point where that ponytail couldn't be a ponytail anymore. I had to throw it into a bun because if I didn't, it would be like looking like a homeless person at age 10. One of my friends to this day would literally be like,
"Do you remember when your hair was all knots?" Yeah, I do.
So all of that was a thing for my hair until the 7th grade, and that's when I started to take care of myself a little bit better because I was becoming more of a girl. I remember specifically December, so the beginning of my 7th grade year must have been a mess because I remember December for some reason, but I finally started brushing my hair on my own. And yes, I mean brushing my hair after a shower on my own because my mom did it every shower prior to that because my arms literally could not handle the knots and I could not do it myself. That's how bad it was. I guess you could say that I started with a basic hair routine and did it for my whole life, and I noticed that because I showered at night, my hair could never do what it was supposed to do. I really didn't have time to shower any time else other than night. So for some reason it was never curly, and it never did the spirals, and if it did, it was underneath and in the back, and the front was frizzy. So I straightened it all the time, and that was 7th and 8th grade and 9th grade. By sophomore year, I actually started to be comfortable with myself, except for I definitely had strong insecurities at the same time, definitely with physical appearance too, because I went to a school with beautiful girls. All of those girls are bred blonde or beautiful natural brunette, skinny, fit even, smart. I just felt like they ran business over there at that school. So by my sophomore year, I went to school with my normal brown hair. All of a sudden, because I wanted to get people's attention, I cut my hair off to like here and dyed it dark auburn. It was just drastic enough. Whatever it was, it just did it for me at the time. I literally just did it just to get a compliment from people. And it was also instant regret because my best friend, you know, Daryl in my other videos, her hair was down to her butt. It never was short. When I met her, when I was in the 7th grade with my ratchet hair, I was always like, oh my God, I love your hair. With that dark hair, I never dyed it after. I just was focused on growing it out, but I never trimmed it. And again, I straightened it all the time. So that was a disaster just growing out. I'm like, oh, it's getting longer, and it's like getting disgusting at the bottom. I know I did a little bit of blonde streaks somewhere and some pink, nothing crazy. Junior year, I wanted to go blonde, so I went blonde. But again, due to impatience and insecurities and needing to change something, I dyed it again. I went back to brown, like waste of money. For a girl, when you can't change, you know, serious things like your teeth or your eye color, and you know, you can't be patient enough to work out and make your body better, the only thing you can change drastically is your hair at any point in time. So I think that's why I did it and other people do it. So just remember, there's only 180 days in school. So anything more than like 3 hair dye jobs, that's excessive, and this girl exceeded that quite a bit. So then after I went back to brown, I went red, like hard to get out red. And then when that started fading, I went back to brown, but I didn't want the red anymore, so I dyed it brown like within a month. Oh my, oh goodness. My senior year, I went from dark brown to light brown a lot, but then one day I decided I want highlights and I don't want to pay $1 million. So I got a highlight kit, one of the caps with all the holes, and you have to pull your hair through and just dye the parts that you pull out. Well, somehow I ended up doing like all of my hair, and it turned so orange and copper. I remember I had to color correct it. I think I bought myself like a dark blonde hair dye just to even it out, and then I got it professionally done and cut it all off, and it was
so ugly.
Like, I hated it. And it wasn't bad, obviously, but not for me, for sure. The summer after I graduated, I had light brown hair, and then I went super dark, and then a mistake of blonde, and then went back to dark. And then once it faded a little bit and was a neutral brown, I did an ombre by myself, which ended up being really nice, but I never could do it again. I did it later in life, and then fall came around and I went orangey red. And then of course at that point, eventually I had to do brown hair dyes to cover that up. Then I decided to cut my hair, and it was still gross. And then from that fall all the way to like summer, I graduated in 2013, so from all the way from fall of 2013 to summer 2014, I started getting professional highlights, which was great. My hair was actually healthy back then. It was like kept up with, but it was still brittle and dry at the same time. And I still, at this point, which I am 18, about to be turning 19, I still couldn't figure out what shampoos and conditioners work best. I still didn't have a hair care routine where I could have predictable hair instead of not knowing what it's going to be like that day. Then I got my new job. At the time, it's where I work now, actually. At that point, I was super blonde. The winter and fall prior to that, I was like this reddish brown, reddish brown, bad ombre, brown, light blonde, you know, just too much. Always looking for compliments, and I was insecure about my teeth, so like I had to change my hair. So when I got my job, I was like, well, this is like a new start. I'm gonna be getting an apartment. I'm working at a new place. So I was like, well, I just got my hair done recently. It was really blonde. My roots were only like that long, and I think it's just time to cut it and start over, because I kind of miss my natural hair, and honestly, I don't really know what it looks like anymore. So I cut it almost shoulder length, actually. So a year after I cut my hair all the way off, I was no dyes, barely any heat. I didn't do anything to my hair. I just let it grow. A year into growing it out, my roots were pretty significantly long, and I needed to get my license picture for my 21st birthday. And I was like, I'm not going in looking multicolored. So I did put brown in my hair at that point, because also adding pigment is not a bad thing, but doing it often is. So for the next year after that, which we're getting close to my age now, the next year I didn't do anything to my hair again. I continued growing it out with that brown in it, not dyeing it still. So that was about 8 months ago, and we are now here with much healthier, much thicker, more natural hair. From August 2015 to now, I've had 2 good trims while growing my hair out, both about 2.5 inches, and it hurt my heart, but it made it so much better in the near future after, because it grows to be the same length but better. Patience is a huge deal. If you're not patient, then don't even bother trying to get the hair you want, because it takes a long time. I don't care what YouTube people say. Whoever says it, it takes a while to grow out hair and to have good quality hair, and so if you don't have patience, then it's not for you. So if you're naturally blessed with some nice hair, then
cool.
In my ride video, if you watch it, my hair was actually at the longest point it's ever been, except it was at that point where my hair was getting super pointy, and that means, you know, the split ends are starting to make their way up, which is terrible for your hair. So that was my second big trim. I cut it like 2.5 inches.
Oh god, I hated it.
But now it's starting to grow back. I'm also pretty sure that but I'm pretty sure because my hair started to be more natural, the hair follicles that didn't want to grow anymore because of bleaching and stuff probably started back up. So now I'm going to talk about what I do with my hair to this day, right now, what I did. Okay, so for my coarse curly hair, brushing my hair dry isn't a thing. It's like those pictures that are like, why don't you brush your hair? And it's this kind of picture. Yeah, because it's a real thing. I will say the facts about heat and it not doing well with your hair, that is real. That is definitely a thing. Heat is definitely a big contributor to split ends. Honestly, I wash my hair like 2 to 3 times a week, and that is because when my hair is too clean, it gets really frizzy and I can't do much with it. So having like that natural grease in my hair actually helps it instead of making it worse, which again, not all people have that issue. Some people have to wash their hair every day. So I guess if you have that kind of hair, this video is not really for you. Now I'm gonna kind of explain what I do for my shower routine. Okay, so what I start with before a shower is I brush my hair first. And I know I said I don't brush my hair dry. This is the only time I do. In its natural state, I brush it dry and then it looks like that picture I showed. And then I get in the shower. Brushing your hair before a shower tremendously helps with not having hair all over your body, not having hair all over the walls and clogging your drains. For shampoos and conditioners, I guess you could just use ones with more natural ingredients. If not, the ones that are labeled to suit your hair needs. Biotin and other vitamins do definitely help, but you don't need them. I started taking biotin and I gave up because I didn't feel like taking a pill all the time or whatever. The promoters for that kind of stuff and vitamins from companies, they say, your hair you'll see a difference within a month. Like, well, yeah, your hair grows and it's not gonna change here, it's gonna change here. Like, I mean, all of it is patience. Like, all of it is patience. Horse shampoo is mint. It doesn't smell amazing. It doesn't smell bad, but it doesn't smell, like, amazing and floral. But I always thought that it worked really well, the shampoo and the conditioner. Okay, people who really, really like hot showers, give up that routine, because rinsing your hair with cold water is the best way to go. The best way to go. I learned that on a YouTube video once, started doing it, and it's been the best decision I've ever done for a shower routine. I mean, I take warm showers. I don't really like hot showers, but if you really like hot showers, just at the end, rinse your hair out thoroughly with cold water. Hot water dries out your hair.
Badly.
Especially with hair like mine. Like, why do you think beach hair is so beautiful? It's because the water is nice and cool and your air drying. But it's not because the water's hot. Nope. Same with pools. Pools are cool. You got cool pool hair. To dry my hair, I wring my hair out, to be honest. I don't like dripping hair, so I have to put it in a towel. I brush my hair after with a regular brush. I guess a wide tooth comb is best for my hair or hair in general. So for years, this is my secret to not having frizzy hair. Seriously, all I do is when I get out of the shower, I put oil in my hair. I think it's just like the anti-frizz oil, or, you know, it's literally oil in a bottle though. I'll get my hands soaked. It is gross. It looks so bad, but I have my hands soaked and I'll lightly like run it through my roots. I'll grab my hair and run it through there, and then I rub it into my tips. And by the end of it, my hands are pretty much completely dry except for a little bit of residue, and that's how I know my hair needs it. Surprisingly, it does not make my hair look disgusting when it dries. It looks completely better than when I don't do it. That revelation was... I'm finding now that I have to put less oil in because my hair's doing a lot better than it was. So I think that's really cool too, that I've actually paid so close attention to its progress, but you have to, because how else will you be able to tell people in a long ass YouTube video? And I don't care what anyone says, your hair only grows 6 to 8 inches a year, so all of these things about having 4 inches in 3 months is
bullshit.
And I would be so obsessed with hair that, like, all the pretty girls who had long hair, I'd look at their profile pictures when they had short hair and, like, count the time that it would take to get to now. You know, I've done extensive research on every type of hair, and it is a long process. It is not a short process. But when you're not paying attention to it, I know it seems like I pay very close attention to it, but I stopped caring about my appearance a lot more, so it helped make the time go by for my hair growth. If you don't have patience, then this just isn't for you. But at the end of the day, it's just hair, and some people don't have the privilege to have or keep hair, so it's always important to be humble with your aesthetically pleasingness. So this is just a reminder that you can have beautiful, sleek hair too if you wait 3 years. Sorry, it took 3 years. Is what it is.